Hey guys, what's up? So this video will be a short and quick guide for the ever popular skeleton mages. I think it's definitely going to be one of the meta builds again. So just be prepared. If you're going to play this build, it's going to be expensive. Then again, this build can accomplish so many things. Like it's so easy and smooth. You can bring this build in a low budget all the way until weight tier maps, or even do bosses with it. Alright, so just a quick go through. This is this skill tree. I only have two skill trees for the leveling guide now. I think it's much easier and compact. So one is at level 44 right after Act 5. This is how it should be like. And one after Act 10, which will be around level 68. Right, so this is how you look like, and then you will transit into level 80 with no cluster, because at league start you shouldn't have any cluster or currencies or whatever. Just go for your chaos recipe and get your core items going. Alright, and then there will be a level 90 for no cluster as well. Very straightforward, just scaling a lot of life and block and stuff. Okay, and then once you have currency, you can start to buy your medium cluster jewel first. The medium cluster jewel is very important because it gives you blessed rebirth on your minions life medium cluster jewel, right? It doesn't has to be 4 passive skill, right? It can be 5 also, but the best is of course preferably 4, right? So blessed rebirth just make your skeleton mages unkillable for a while. I think it was 5 seconds. I can't remember how long. Yeah, it's one of the core items of it. And then you will have Dead Reckoning as well. I forgot to mention previously. So this is how it goes with your medium cluster jewel. And then at level 90, same, you're just going to scale from 80 to 90, you're just going to scale more life for sustainability. Alright, the damage is already there the moment you hit level 80. You can see the DPS on just with the medium cluster jewel is 4 million when you activate Val Skeleton. Alright, it's really crazy. Okay, next will be level 80 with the large cluster jewel and the medium cluster jewel. The difference is you're gonna give out a bit of life for a lot more damage, and I think it's worth it. So it doesn't have to be 9 passive, it can be 8 as well, it can be 9, 10, 11, it doesn't really matter. I think try to avoid 12 passive, alright? And then same, you're gonna socket your medium cluster jewel with the blessed rebirth on this. It should not be too expensive. And then over here you're gonna get the Fortress Covenant and your Quickening Covenant over here, just to boost the damage of this build by a lot. Alright, so this is level 80, and at level 90, same, you're just gonna scale more life over the place, and you should be good to go all the way even until red tier maps. Right, so you can see that the progression is actually pretty smooth. I will go on to the skills first. Alright, so for skills, it's pretty much quite standard. You have your Val Skeletons. Prioritize to get your Val Skeletons first. And then you have minion damage, elemental focus, spell echo. Hypothermia, okay, sorry. So hypothermia is supposed to be below, where when you fight bosses you can try to change it. For me, I'm very lazy, so I don't even bother leveling up. But if you want more single target damage, you can change pierce for hypothermia, alright, or volley, one of them. Okay, and then next you have your utility trigger wand. So this will be your desecrate bone offering and life tap. Basically you just walk around casting your guard skills, and all of these utility skills will just activate automatically. Alright, next will be your curse debuff, which we are going to use elemental weakness because the skeleton mages have different elements of projectile. And then you have molten shell for a lot of armor. Flame dash as your movement skill, you can use whatever you like. And we have our supporting minion team number 1, which will be Ray Spectre and Animate Guardian. If you do not have an Animate Guardian in the early stages because of league start, you can just leave it first, or just put more supports for your Spectra. Alright, you can even put Elemental Army over here first, temporarily, but in the early stages, I will recommend just to level up the Animate Guardian. Alright, you can go for the budget version of Animate Guardian, which I've written in the notes here. So the budget version is the Dying Breath, Learcast, Ambush, Charge, Southbound for the gloves, Victorious Flight for the boots, and all this. I'm pretty sure it is very, very, very cheap. Alright, but do not expect your Animate Guardian to survive flight every single time. Alright, because this is a low budget. Anything can happen to your Animate Guardian. Right, next will be your supporting minion number 2, which will be your Wrist Zombie and Stone Golem. And along with that, we're gonna link it with Feeding Frenzy and Elemental Army. Why Elemental Army is because it will inflict exposure. Alright, so which means your bossing bossing wise, you don't really have to worry on other skills to inflict exposure. And for the aura, there will be 2 different sections, so you can put this on anywhere, but just make sure that they are not 4 linked. Alright, so the first 2 link will be Determination and Tempest Shield. Technically you don't have to link this as well, but this has to be linked, which is your Zealotry and Generosity. Alright, you cannot link the Determination and Tempest Shield to Generosity, or just basically your Determination, because it will affect your minions and not you instead. Okay, and the last one basically is actually a free slot, so you can put in anything you like here. I have just put Clarity. If you want, you can put Vitality, basically just a small amount of mana pool that you can put, or you can just put any other utility skills that you want. Okay, and there will be a leveling guide. You can just scroll over to the notes, is below. There's a minion leveling guide from Act 1 all the way until Act 4. I basically tell you what you need to get for the skill gems. Absolution will be the go-to for it because it's just very easy to progress. Okay, and for the Spectras, there is 2 options over here. So for some of you that are like really lazy, or in the early stages of the game you are not able to find a lot of Spectras, just run 2 Host Chieftain and 2 Carnage Chieftain. They will be good enough. And as you progress on, you can get 1 Host Chieftain, 1 Carnage Chieftain, 1 Arena Master from Drox map, and 1 Day of 2 from 2 Bridge. Alright, so Day of 2 gives you more sustainability. And do remember that as the Skelemages, they are not permanent. In your configuration, I have only put 2 Power Charge and 2 Frenzy Charge. Alright. Okay, and next will be the item. There is 2 sets of item. Alright, so one specifically for League Start, and the other one will be for low budget. So at League Start, when you have no currency, you should just use whatever you have. Focus on life and resistance. That should be your main focus. And basically, if you can see, the items are not really very difficult to find. So like my shield, basically your important stuff is 85 life. You don't really need the additional physical damage reduction, but it will be good if you can get it. And then you see the helmet, there are all 2 mods of lines only, so life plus resistance, and then you can just benchcraft the other one. For the body armor, if you don't have, you can just put a tabula rasa first, but of course the best is just get life and a rare armor. Alright, definitely a rare armor is way better than a tabula rasa. And next will be the gloves, rings, amulets, all of this. They are basically just life and resistance. So okay, for my rings, I have one of them that has dexterity. You need this dexterity in order to run one of these skills. I can't remember what was it. Okay, it was volley. Yep, it was volley. So you need this to run. Okay, my bad. And for the amulets, you can see my amulet has a +1 to number of skeletons. This is taken from Delph. You can just get any amulet. Alright, it doesn't have to be coral amulet. That's why I literally just put the coral amulet just for show. It can be any amulet as long as it has a +1 to maximum number of skeletons. It will be a bonus if it has a prefix slot. Alright, so that you can craft maximum life. Otherwise, just use whatever you have, and then you can see that I have allocated alacrity. So what alacrity does is it gives you 30 decks. Alright, this is to fulfill our decks requirement, and this is definitely very cheap. It just requires 3 clear oil. Alright, you can get them very easily at the start. Okay, and then the rest will be just for your flask. Quicksilver, granite for more armor, basalt for even more armor, and quartz just to phase through stuffs. Eternal life flask with the anti, or I should say immunity to corrupted blood and bleeding. Right, this is really important. I will recommend to have this immunity to poison on one of your flasks, because league starters are like very vulnerable to chaos damage, especially poison. You won't know when you get poisoned, and you can just die really fast. Alright. Okay, and the rest is more or less whatever that I've introduced just now over at the skill tree. And once you have budgets going, right, so once you have ignore this, so you can just take the no cluster one first. Your very first item to purchase will definitely be Dead Reckoning. And once you have more currency, you can switch your boots to Alberon's Warpath. Alright, where you have +1 number of skeletons, and then your belt to Darkness and Throne, which you will have the Ghastly Eye Jewel socketed on both the slots, and just focus on maximum life plus minions have increased attack. Yes, I know there is the other options of minions deal more damage recently, right? So let me just do a quick one. Maybe I can just show you. Recently, yeah, this is the one. All right, so this is very expensive as always, and I can tell you it is not necessary. All right, definitely not necessary. I'm just going to give you a very quick example now. Okay, I'm just going to use the average one, which is how much? 18%. Okay, you can see that my DPS now is about 4 million. Alright, if I am going to change both of them to this, you can see the damage difference is not extremely significant. Alright, so you don't really have to pay so much for this. Just use the one that has increased cast speed and you should be fine. Okay, so yes, that's it for the item build. And when you are completed with the low budget, including the cluster jewel, right, this is the kind of damage and tankiness you have on the build. Alright, it is really quite insane. So with all this, okay, let's just say you will have Rumi's concoction also. I do not know why I don't have it here. Let's just say if you have Rumi's concoction, alright, just the average one, you're gonna change with granite flask, right? So you're gonna change Rumi's concoction, and your basalt flask is going to be the one with armor increment. Definitely go for the armor increment. And then you can have the quartz flask with either the poison one or the reduced curse effect, whichever you feel is more annoying. Alright, you can see that we are gonna have 5,300 life with a lot of regen. Don't forget that every time you block, you're gonna have regeneration because of your skill tree here. Your offering skills affect you also, and we are gonna use bone offering, which means every time we block, we are gonna regenerate 2% of our life. Alright, that's quite insane. And on top of that, we are gonna have, where is it? We're gonna have 22,000 armor, so that's like 84% physical damage reduction block. That is really a lot. And we're gonna have 72% and 71 and 72% block chance. So you can see that this is really insane, especially when you are mapping, right? Most of the flasks here are going to be full uptime. Alright, in a sense, you can just put when you have the currency, you can just apply the enchantment of Instilling Orb. So use when charges reach full. In that sense, right, when you are mapping, you don't even have to click any flask other than your life flask. Alright, so this is how it should go when you are completed with your low budget build. The damage is really insane, and technically this is not the full correct DPS. So it is actually much higher. Okay, maybe I will not say much higher. It is higher, but it is not so much higher. But it's definitely more than enough to bring you or even help you complete all the way until your raid maps. And this low budget will help you easily farm your high budget build, which I'm going to showcase now. Okay, and this is the high budget build. You can start. I have 4 different skill trees, so one at level 80, and then at level 90. Usually, I would say you should transit at either 90 or 95. Okay, so I think 95 is more ideal because by then you will reach this level, and the low budget build doesn't. It is really hard to die in the low budget build. So at level 90, this is how the skill tree looks like. Very simple, just double cluster of minion damage, and then you have one medium cluster jewel. Alright, and when we go to our skills is actually more or less the same as the low budget. Alright, just that over here you are going to focus more on getting the level 21 jewels or the alternate quality jewels. Alright, so I will not explain much on this, so I only focus on the important stuff. So example like molten shell. Alright, for molten shell, get anomalous because the buff can take additional damage equal to 5% of your armor, and we are going to run Ashes of the Star. Okay, so for those of you that follow me previously, Ashes of the Star is going to help you boost all your alternate quality gems a lot. So for here, right, just an average one is going to plus 25% to quality of all skill gems. And when you see Molten Shell, it gives you buff can take additional damage equal to 5% of armor, right? So with Asher or Star, literally this is 10% additional damage the buff can take equal to your armor. Alright, that is really, really insane. Okay. Okay, this should be 20. Oh, okay, it's 20. And your minion support gems, your Spectral is anomalous, more life. Animate Guardian Divergent, same, more life. And for your minion life, you can just use the default one, otherwise you can just use anomalous for more minion regeneration, so to ensure that it doesn't die so easily. For your aura, you're gonna use Awaken Generosity, and your Zealotry, you're gonna use anomalous. Alright, for more critical strike multiplier, your skitter bots can be divergent, otherwise just use the default one, and the expensive one is gonna be Tempest Shield. Alright, so Tempest Shield Divergent literally just gives you 4% more block spell damage. Okay, without the Divergent Tempest Shield, right, it's gonna be hard to max out your spell block. Otherwise, you probably need to take smaller nodes over here and there like this to max out your spell block chance. Alright. Okay, and then moving on will be your minion support number 2. You'll be Summon Stone Golem and Feeding Frenzy. Both try to get them at with the anomalous. Okay, so for Feeding Frenzy, it doesn't need to be anomalous, but it'll be good to have it. And then Determination and Defiance Banner, please get them at level 21 for more survivability. Alright. And the last one will be your movement skill. Same, you can just use whatever you want. I prefer Flame Dash for minion build. You can use Frost Blink and whatsoever as well. Right. And for the item, so the item is more complex. We're going to use the Convoking Wand. This is actually quite expensive. So I have actually a Google spreadsheet on one of my site, which I'll link in the description below, and basically I will show like what are the items you need to get in order. Alright, so just a quick one I can show you. Let me just load first. Alright, so in the meantime, I'm just going to carry on. For the weapon number 2, which is your shield, please get a Shaper shield because it will have the mod where it recovers 5% of your life when blocked. Right, so total when you block, right, you're gonna recover 7% of your life each time you block. That is why the Shaper shield is so important and powerful in terms of survivability. Okay, And then next, Flash Crafter is definitely your go-to for your body armor. Gloves, you're just gonna use one that has life and double resistance, and then you can benchcraft minions deal more damage. For this, you can actually have the Eldritch Influence glove, Eldritch and what is the other one? Eldritch and Saving Exarch. Alright, so just follow this. Minions deal 25% increased damage. Basically, depending on the tier of the Eldritch currency you use, it's gonna affect. You can use the lower tier one, doesn't matter. Boots, same Alberon's Warpath, and your amulet, like I mentioned, Ashes of the Sun. So for this, right, please prioritize to have 20% increased reservation efficiency of skills. Alright, the rest doesn't really matter whether you have 20% quality of all skill gems or whatsoever. The 20% increased reservation efficiency of skills is the most important one. Okay, so for the ring, just go for Dex, Life. Chaos Resistance is a bonus. I actually use non-channeling skills, as in I benchcraft non-channeling skills have -7 to total mana cost, so that I would not have mana problems. Same for this as well. I just go for life, double resistance, and benchcraft non-channeling skills have -8 to total mana cost. Alright, for the belt, same Darkness Enthroned, and just a little bit of difference over here is that the Ghastly Eye Jewel, I added the Dex and Intelligence to it. Alright. Next will be your flask. So the flask is actually somewhat similar, where I use Quicksilver with the reduced effect of curses on you, so that when you are running maps, right, together with this reduced effect of curse and okay, so I'm supposed to use Yugul. 30% reduced effect of curse on you. So technically you will have 90% reduced effect of curses on you. When you are running maps, you will come across a lot of different variants where you have a lot of different curses, and it can kind of like reduce your survivability a lot, or even slow you down a lot. That's why I like to use this mod for your flask. Okay, Rumi's Concoction, Taste of Hate for more survivability, Quartz Flask for dephasing, and then I use Eternal Flask. This is the one that I use every single time. Basically, your Panic Eternal Life Flask of... Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that, but basically just immune to bleeding and corrupted blood, and instant recovery when on low life. So why not use the other one where you recover life instantly? I can't remember which one was the mod. Let me just do a quick one. Yeah, I think it's this one, is Seating. So I've actually been asked many times, why do I not use Seating? Instead, I use Panic. The reason is, when you are actually taking a large amount of damage, your life will probably be less than 50%, right? So that is why when you are less than 50%, usually you just spam your flask, right? And if I were to use Seating, right, you can see I heal 849. So I will need to press several times before my life can be full, right? But if I am going to use the other one, when I recover life instantly when on low life, you see I will recover 2172 life. So technically I will recover more or less like instantly back to full life, as long as I'm below 50%. That is why I choose to use this over Seating. Alright, and then next will be your Cluster Jewel. So Fortress Convener, I think is a very standard jewel. The large Cluster Jewel, basically your minion damage, you have to focus on two things. So one will be your increased attack and cast speed at 3%, and then your added small passive skills have 35% effect. So technically all these small little notes, right, is actually not correct over here. Alright, every small little node is going to give you minions deal about 13% increased damage, and also you're going to have minions have 4% increased attack and cast speed, because you have the added small passive skills have 35% increased effect. Alright, and one thing to take note over here for this Cluster Jewel is that let me just find the Cluster Jewel. Yeah, if you are going to buy one that has 2%, alright, 2% increased attack and cast speed, it is not going to be affected by this added small passive skills. Alright, so the best scenario will be to get one that has 3% increase attack and cast speed. Alright, I think this is gonna be a bit expensive, so try your best to get it. For the passive skill, honestly, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter is because one way or another you're gonna have additional what do you call that, additional nodes that you will not allocate. Alright, and it's very flexible over here. You can just remove it. If you want more life, you can just allocate more life, or if you want more damage, just fill up the rest. That's why I say it doesn't matter whether is it 8, 9, 10, 11 passive. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so as usual, avoid the 12 passive large cluster jewel. And then the next important one will be Watcher's Eye. Okay, so for Watcher's Eye, the important thing to take note will be the percentage chance to block attack damage while affected by determination. This will help you to max out your block chance at 75%. Alright. Okay, and then the other mods on the Watcher's Eye is not mandatory. You're free to get whatever you want. Okay, and yes, so this is how the build looks like. You can see that the build is the same as the low budget, just that the damage is way much higher than it. Alright, it's about 21 million. Then again, this is not exactly accurate. It's more than that. But you can see the tankiness of the build is just that. Alright. Okay, I'm not sure why the armor is like this, but we should actually have 90% physical damage reduction. And we should have maximum spell block chance. I think I'm missing out somewhere, but yeah, the block chance is almost maximal. Right, you're gonna have max it with our resistance max as well, and we have a nice chaos resistance of minus 21%. Not the best, honestly, but well, this is a live build, it's not CI, so I can't complain much as well. And I can tell you this working towards the high budget build, right, is not going to be super expensive. Alright, the only thing that is expensive in my own opinion will be the large cluster jewel. Alright, and the medium cluster jewel as well. So other than that, the rest is just as usual and normal, I will say. The convoking one will be the last to get. Okay, so like I mentioned previously, this is the, what do you call it, the okay, so this is the high budget spreadsheet. As you can see, I show you like the order to buy. So I mean, it is not exactly very friendly where you can filter to show you the number 1, number 2, where is it, right? So you gotta look it for yourself. Like the first one will be Dead Reckoning, second one will be Flash Crafter, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is you can just browse this list later on. Alright, and this is how the build will transit from the low budget to the high budget. Then again, if you found out any mistakes from mine, just let me know in the comment section or hop over to my Discord to let me know. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment anything in the section below or hop over to my Discord channel where casual players come over to chill, discuss more about the builds, gameplays, or even ask any other questions. Once again, if you like my contents, do remember to click the like and subscribe button. Bye!